Throughout history, some mysteries have a dark and scary explanation, while other events will always remain unexplained. Sometimes the greatest historical questions are the mysteries that don't have any answers. These mysterious events represent some of the strangest and darkest moments throughout all of human history. Number 5. In 1835, a teenager named Joshua Newlove was exploring the seaside near his family's cottage in Margate, Kent, when he stumbled against a loose block in the wall of a secret underground passage. The dark cavern he found within was the beginning of a shocking mystery that points to strange historical events beyond even our modern-day comprehension. Dozens of caves dot the southern English countryside, but Joshua's amazing discovery was no natural formation. Inside the opening he had created, he found countless seashells arranged in swirling, intricate patterns that seemed to go on forever. And explorers would later confirm that the cavern contained more than 2,000 feet of mosaic comprised of over 4.6 million shells. Experts were baffled by these unexplained events because the shells were deliberately laid out in a strange and mysterious pattern inspired by Indian and Egyptian designs. Joshua's family excavated the grotto and opened it up to tourists, but they were never able to unravel the historic mystery behind who built the grotto and what purpose it served. Some have speculated that the cave may have a scary, unsolved history of dark rituals or scary meetings. Even using modern techniques like radiocarbon dating, researchers have been unable to determine when exactly this amazing discovery was formed. Today, thousands of people visit the Margate Shell Grotto from around the globe each year, each seeking to solve the mystery of the creepy cavern's purpose. It seems that despite its worldwide fame, the Shell Grotto's hidden past, where it came from, what it was used for, and why it was hidden, will remain one of history's many dark secrets. Number 4. We've all heard of the famously sunken Titanic, but much less talked about is the strange but true story of another luxury liner, the SS Morro Castle, which met its fate on September 7, 1934. The Morro Castle, built in 1929 or 1930, was decorated in a trendy Art Deco style and could be regularly seen from the New Jersey coast carrying passengers on leisurely cruises to and from Cuba. For more than 4 years, the ship likely made thousands of these voyages, with her loyal captain, Robert Wilmot, always at the helm. But on September 7, 1934, the body of Captain Wilmot was found in his cabin under mysterious circumstances. His passing was reported as natural causes, but Captain Wilmot had been telling the ship's officers that someone wanted to get rid of him and damage the ship in the process. The crew didn't have much time to worry about the captain's scary story, though. They were still at sea with hundreds of passengers and had no choice but to take over navigating the ship. The unexplained mystery behind his passing would prove to be just one of the night's many dark moments. At approximately 3 a.m., the Castle Morro approached the New Jersey shore. Smoke began to spew from a closet below deck. With no real leadership, the smoke grew into a raging inferno, and the boat was totally engulfed by flames. In total, 137 people, more than 1/5 of the ship's passengers, did not survive the night. After the fire, FBI investigators conducted an inquiry into the mysterious tragedy. Stories were conflicted. It was the middle of the night and the crew was captainless, adrift in an unfamiliar situation. One man quickly came to the forefront as a hero, a radio operator named George White Rogers, who courageously remained at his post. Rogers was lauded by the media and was quick to participate in interviews with reporters. In later years, though, Rogers' role in the ship's tragedy was called into question after a potentially dark personal history was revealed. After the fire, he started a radio repair shop, which caught fire under mysterious circumstances. He then worked briefly for a New Jersey police department, where he was involved in an electric fire that nearly ended the life of a staff detective. He was arrested and convicted for his crime. but never served a full sentence. However, the New Jersey policeman became convinced that Rogers was a serial arsonist whose actions were to blame for the greatest maritime mysteries of the 20th century. Rogers never confessed, and today, what exactly happened that fateful September night aboard the SS Morro Castle remains an unexplained mystery. Was it an accident, or was it something scarier, something intentional? We may never know. Number 3. More than 3,000 years ago, society was thriving. There was a massive global shipping network that carried luxury goods, spices, and more across Europe, Asia, and Africa. Trade networks were so strong that some of the participating kingdoms have been called the Club of Great Powers. Yet, in a strange but true twist of history, this empire came crashing down, and we still cannot explain exactly why. In a period of less than 150 years, all of the wonders of ancient civilization would collapse, nearly lost to the sands of time. This scary historical mystery is known as the Bronze Age collapse. For centuries, Bronze Age people enjoyed a culture and economy that could be called flourishing even by modern history standards. They were able to travel across the world on ships stocked with luxury metals and furnishings, and they built monumental palaces and kept written records of their successes throughout history. Yet, in a period of approximately 100 years, from 1250 to 1150 BC, all of these technological wonders were lost, and society splintered into smaller tribes. For many years, scholars thought that a mysterious band of fighters, known in historical records as the Sea People, were the major catalyst for the Bronze Age collapse. These invaders swooped in from seemingly nowhere and targeted key cities. It's possible that the famous legend of the destruction of Troy even originated with the Sea People's invasion. The creepiest part of this mystery is that no one has been able to come to a conclusion about who exactly the Sea People were, where they came from, or what they wanted. Almost all of the facts we know about them come exclusively from ancient Egyptian history records, one of the few cultures that survived to document its own downfall. However, if stories of a mysterious tribe of ultra-strong fighters weren't scary enough, expert historians today remained baffled as to whether or not the Sea People were even the primary cause of the ancient civilization's collapse. Competing theories include plague, drought, climate change, earthquakes, and other strange historical events. The fact remains that without solid evidence, it's likely we will never know what caused one of the largest catastrophes to ever befall the human race. The scariest legacy of the Bronze Age collapse is the question that it asks. If a society this large could fail and leave practically no trace, what could happen to us? Number 2. Imagine this. It's 1528, and you're a member of the English monarchy. At the end of the day, you notice an ache in your neck and shoulders. That night, you're awoken by a high fever. You shiver from the cold. The stiffness in your neck becomes unbearable. Abruptly, the cold shivers end, replaced by an overwhelming heat. You're sweating more than you ever have in your life. You fall asleep, and within 24 hours, you either wake up or you don't. Such was the course of the mysterious sweating sickness. 5 separate times without warning, these mysterious events struck thousands throughout the medieval England. The summers of 1485, 1508, 1517, 1528, and 1551 were all dark periods of history. The strange but true sickness seemed to affect the wealthy just as frequently, if not more often, than the poor. In 1527, it was so widespread in London that a terrified King Henry VIII moved his entire court away from the capital. As many as 50% of those who got it did not survive. What makes this a truly creepy mystery is that scientists cannot explain what could have caused these events, or why they recurred in such an unusual pattern. The pathogen had a history of taking thousands of lives in just a few weeks before going dormant again for years, only to repeat the horrifying process. One of today's leading theories is that the sweating sickness was caused by the hantavirus, a similar ailment with a terrifyingly high mortality rate. However, hantavirus is not known to ever be transmitted person to person. Yet, the numbers of people sickened during the English outbreaks clearly indicate that this was how it was spread. This strange but true story is an eerie reminder that despite modern scientific knowledge, our history holds many secrets that will likely remain unsolved until they return to strike again in recent times. Number 1. Atop a craggy mountain in the middle of the Czech countryside, more than 30 miles from the nearest city, a Gothic castle with a frightful history looms over the surrounding farmland. Unlike other castles from the same time period, this one is not along an advantageous trade route, and it lacks the usual fortifications that would make it defensible in case of an attack. And perhaps the strangest of all, the castle is built around a massive outcropping of rock, which can be seen outside of the castle walls and even poking through them. The strange historic lore of this castle, known as Huska, provides some insight into why exactly it's built in this mysterious style. According to legend, the historic castle rests atop a pit so deep that no one can see the bottom. The local villagers, uneasy with the mysterious darkness, tried to fill in the hole, but it seems to swallow all the stones they drop down with no visible effect. Scary history stories told of strange half-human, half-animal creatures that escaped from the portal and attacked local livestock. Some even said that those who wandered too close to the gaping maw would be transformed themselves, as the pit was fabled to be a gateway to the dark underworld. In what was perhaps an attempt to rebuke the demons issuing from the mountainside, the Huska Castle was built over the top of a dark pit sometime in the 13th century. A chapel was located directly over top of the now closed cavern and was dedicated to the Archangel Michael. This seems to have stopped the demonic forces contained within from escaping, at least temporarily. Hundreds of years later, during World War II, the Germans purportedly occupied the historic castle. Their work was a closely guarded secret, but rumor has it that they were conducting classified research into the dark history of the castle. Specifically, what terrible secrets were waiting to be found inside of the pit. Records of the experimentation were subsequently destroyed, but it is speculated that something about the atmosphere of Huska is particularly suited to things horrible and unknown, something that would make even the greatest war criminals in history tremble with fear. We may never know the true history behind this legendary site, or what creepy unsolved mysteries were born from centuries of horror. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But my name is Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.